What a project this is, my friends. No, you haven't missed a part. In fact, what I did was just kind of jump ahead and start building on my own here. Sometimes I just like to work, especially when I think a part is going to be rather uninteresting to the audience. For example, trying to put together just a wooden structure like this. Those following the project would know that this top piece is just a single board. You also understand that these wooden pieces that I have right here were also single pieces of wood as well. And as you can see from the picture in the background over there, this is actually the outside of the back box. Now I've already gone ahead and done some of the weathering here, and we can talk about that today. Like if you want to age some wood and make it have a really old patina type of look, you can take an SOS pad or some, some steel wool, take about a half a cup of apple cider vinegar, and about a half a bucket, 2 gallons of water. Mix that all together and let it sit for, overnight. Then dip your wood into that solution and let it dry. And after about 10 minutes, you'll get a really old, faded, weathered look. It turns out very nice. Now, why didn't I do that? Well, because I didn't really find out in time, to be straightforward. I could have done it, but I was excited. And instead, what I did was take old metal filings, some coal, some ash, and soaked the wood. Then I went with the brush and I kind of brushed it in. Now you'll see I didn't get in between the cracks very well, and that's fine. I expect this wood to actually age this summer when I'm using this and getting more dirt and whatever on there. So you can see I've got paint all over me. I even did a wicked Phillips screwdriver stab right into the meat of my finger when I was trying to do up one of the screws. So that was fabulous yesterday. Hopped around my shop using words that I don't use on this show. Every dad and every worker has been there. Anyway, guys, I'm going to start adding some rust to the metal parts, and I also want to get this mounted up on the truck so we can have a final look at how the assembly looks. Remember, for those that have been watching, or whoever has missed maybe, that there is a spare tire mounted right here. They did make this opening for the spare tire, and you can tell when you assemble it exactly what it is for. There, so then there's 2 screws on either side and 2 screws back here, which basically secure that to the chassis. Okay, and then just using some pins to go through to the other side, and E-clips. Put a pin up here at the front. Just kind of line everything up like that into the right spot, and then an E-clip right here. Oh, definitely could use an E-clip tool right at this moment, but my E-clip tool is needle nose. What a messy project this has been, especially working with the paint lately and reinforcing with CA glue. My fingers, of course, have turned a different color. That's part of the hobby, though. Here's where I pinch myself uncontrollably and try not to say too many curse words. Oh, I got off easy. So after everything is said and done, we are left with that. Pretty awesome so far. I'm really liking the way this build is going, but I still see so much potential, right? I need to get in there and start doing some hand painting and also start darkening up all these spots. For example, look at the pins on the leaf springs. Somebody commented on that yesterday, and they're right. I wasn't quite finished yet. These boards under here, am I going to weather them or am I going to just let it go on? I have to rust up the hinges, get in here and do some real rust work as well. And but overall, without the electronics being hooked up, there it is. Now, speaking of rust, here is that rust powder I showed quite some time ago. Different types of, it has an adhesive in it, which is activated by water. This is actually metallic powder that will rust. It's basically metal powder ground up finer than chalk, ground up a super like a talcum powder type of thing, and you add a drop of water and you can start going in. Now, I have never done this before, but I'm excited to see how it's going to turn out. I'm going to take a cap full of water and a new brush. I'm going to put a couple of drops in each one here. Here you can have a look at the consistency once I've mixed it up. Basically like baby food or otherwise. Okay, so I also have some darker colors here, like a grimy gray, an ash color, and some dirt brown. This is going to actually help me add a little bit of depth to the color. I don't mind it being a little chunky here. That's the whole point of rust, kind of eating into the metal. And when you're experimenting with a paint job, why not have a little fun? It's like waiting for those old Polaroid snapshots to appear. I'm really liking what I'm seeing here. Let's kind of pan back and you can have a look at what's going on. Starting to get some of that gray grimy look going on. So that means I'm definitely going to be using the gray in here. Okay, and then looking at this, there's a lot of blue, so I could go back, but I don't want to lose my green effect in here. So we just want to rust up the door on top to give it a bit more of that spackle effect. The devil is in the detail, my friends. Get in there. Remember, if this truck is super old, probably not a lot of chrome left on it. Everything is probably a shade of dirt or rust. But there could be parts that were replaced here and there. But again, get in there with your paintbrush. Don't be afraid to get in, start splashing and doing things, because mud and dirt will splash up all over the place. And the more work you do, the better your truck will look. Now, as I've been working on everything else, the gas tank has gone ahead and dried. Look at that, my friends. Is that a good job or what? It looks like an old gas tank, and really the secret was the gray and blue being added to the brown and the orange. And you can see other places on the truck are still drying, but really it has come quite a long way. I want to do a little bit more work on the blues that are over here, just mix it in a little bit more, but overall the truck is coming together quite nicely. Making sure to get inside the cab, because you know water always pools on the floor, and these things used to have a hole basically worn right into the floor where the gas pedal was. We got a lot of these harvester trucks or CA10s or whichever model, a lot of these out on the prairies here on farms just sitting on display because they were used, and finally they got retired and put out to pasture. Okay, so here is my reference point. This is the picture on the box. And really you can see the bonnet is slightly darker than the rest of the hood panels here. The mirrors are folded over at all. There's no dirt on the hubs. This bumper here is perfect. The headlights. This thing is ready to go to work, basically. It's a brand new truck. And then you pan up here and what do you find? Grandpa's old farm truck that has been working there for the last 50 years. He acquired it in some poker game back in the day, and he's been using it to haul hay bales. You helped him put rocks in the back of it to help move it across the property. This thing has seen work all around the farm. And granted, I had an amazing time learning how to do some of these techniques today. Like what I would call the chunking method, where really I'm just going in and creating a lot of depth using different colors for rust. Adding blues, grays, the browns, the oranges. A little bit more orange in there would have been great. But as we pan back, you can see a dry brush method where really I was trying to get at that oily effect of the corrosion dripping down over time. A scrape on the door as well as some pitting. The gas tank turned out phenomenal, or should I say the diesel tank turned out great. Fuel tank. Got to get into the chassis under there, do a little bit more work for sure. It's not as rusty as I'd like it to be. The fenders, I had to make sure took a lot of damage. You can see good paint. It's got a lot of rock chipping on the front. The salt chipping technique that I showed in the video really helped set a good base for what I wanted to do. Old dirty windows. This was important for me, so I did a lot of brushing on of just kind of that paint dust. And if you notice, there is the bonnet, slightly darker than the actual hood panels themselves. I did paint the servo in the front. You can't see the Savox servo anymore because it was painted to match with the truck. Different types of rust, different colors of rust. Everything over the years. We can see here on top, it's even had an authentic roof scrape a few times because of the lumber that was put into the back. I did fix the mirror on here. In fact, I modified it because as you guys suggested, it would make it just even that more authentic. And the same with the top windshield wiper. One motor worked, one motor didn't quite work on the passenger side. Turning it around, yes, I did paint the tires. I want you to think about painting tires when you're doing this, that the tire is rotating. So when I actually wiped the paint off, first I made sure to get into the treads. This thing has never actually seen dirt. There's not a speck of dirt on this, or rust, obviously. But when I'm wiping off the paint, I want to make sure to do it directionally, so it looks like the tire was turning and spinning in the mud. So lots of dirt underneath on the chassis here. Obviously, I did a much better job on this side. Those mud flaps, again, not a spot of dirt on them. This is all paint. In fact, I don't even have this back bed attached. I can remove this whole thing right now. Check it out. Even all the hinges got their proper weathering. Dirt and everything sticking in the side. Beautiful. I love how this just fits on there. And you have that spare tire location right there. So I'll just pop this on. Should be, can I do it one-handed? Oh, that's what she said. Look at the blue and the gray that came into the wood. Like, this looks legit. I'm very happy with this. I also made sure to do inside the door to make sure we had mud. I guess I could do a lot better job, obviously, but I mean inside the door jambs. Again, different types of rust happening, getting it down to the bare blue underneath. Really fun. So there you go. There's a good look at the King Kong RC CA10. And I'm going to spin it around here so we get a final view. I hope you guys loved this project. And I'm still going to put the electronics in myself. Like, I just got to hook it up and solder it and get it out on the trail. But guys, go ahead, smash that like button for me right now. Let me know you're still watching, because this was a heck of a project to plan. Took lots of courage to do this for you guys. This is the most detailed paint job I've ever done. So thank you all for the information you've given me, all the different tips and tricks. And I just want to know, like, the reason I do these videos is for you guys to be inspired and to get out there and have fun with a hobby that I find just so fascinating. If you guys were going to build this same truck, would you do a patina build like I did, or would you make it brand new and like sparkling off the showroom floor? Would you make it into a dump truck or a tow truck? Would you make it into a drag car and like put in like or a drag truck and put in like a super brushless motor and make it into a two-wheel Fury, or what? Let me know in the comment section down below. Smash that like button, and we'll see you in the next episode of RC Adventures. Now get outside and have some fun with RC. You know I always do. Bye for now.